Some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it.
Imagine this. It's a typical Monday night. You're flipping channels, landing on your favorite late-night show. The host cracks a joke, the audience laughs, but then silence. The screen goes black. No explanation, no goodbye, just gone. What if that wasn't just a glitch? What if it was the start of something bigger, a chilling crackdown on free speech that could silence anyone, even the biggest names in Hollywood? Tonight, we're diving into the shocking suspension of Jimmy Kimmel. Was it justified outrage or a dangerous power play? Stick around, because what happened next will make you question everything you thought you knew about media, politics, and the voices we're allowed to hear. This is the Kimmel Shutdown. And trust me, the twists are just beginning. Hey everyone, welcome back to Showsbizpedia, where we unpack the stories that the mainstream media glosses over. I'm your host, your name, and today we're tackling a bombshell that's got Hollywood buzzing, politicians fuming, and free speech advocates up in arms. If you've been scrolling through your feed lately, you might have caught wind of it. ABC, the powerhouse network owned by Disney, has yanked Jimmy Kimmel off the air, indefinitely. Yeah, that Jimmy Kimmel, the guy who's been roasting presidents, hosting the Oscars, and keeping us entertained since 2003. But why? What did he say that was so explosive it led to threats from the FCC, boycotts from broadcasters, and even cheers from the White House? Let's set the stage. It all started with a tragedy, a senseless shooting that claimed the life of Charlie Kirk, the 31-year-old right-wing influencer and founder of Turning Point USA. Kirk was a polarizing figure, loved by conservatives for his fiery takes on campus politics and culture wars, criticized by liberals for his hardline stances. On that fateful day, a 22-year-old suspect allegedly gunned him down, sending shockwaves through the political world. Flags flew at half-mast, tributes poured in, and the nation mourned. But in the midst of this grief, Jimmy Kimmel decided to weigh in during his Monday monologue. And folks, that's where the powder keg ignited. Kimmel didn't hold back. He called out what he saw as hypocrisy from the MAGA gang, the Make America Great Again crowd loyal to Donald Trump. He accused them of twisting the narrative around Kirk's killer, trying to distance themselves from any connection while scoring cheap political points. The MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them, he said, his voice dripping with sarcasm. He even mocked Trump's reaction, comparing it to a toddler grieving a goldfish. Ouch. Harsh. Maybe. But in the cutthroat world of late-night TV, it's par for the course. Or so we thought. But here's where it gets suspenseful. Just hours after that monologue aired, the backlash hit like a freight train. Enter Brendan Carr, the FCC chair and a Trump appointee. This guy's no stranger to controversy. He's been pushing for tougher regulations on big tech and media giants. On a conservative podcast called The Benny Show, Carr didn't mince words. He said, "We can do this the easy way or the hard way," he warned. He hinted that Disney and ABC better change conduct on Kimmel or face additional work from the FCC. Was this a veiled threat? A flex of government muscle? You bet it was. And it worked. By the next day, ABC announced, Jimmy Kimmel Live will be preempted indefinitely. No reruns, no guest hosts, just dead air. Now, pause for a second. Indefinitely? That's not a slap on the wrist. That's a potential career ender. Kimmel, who's hosted the Oscars 4 times and built an empire on his sharp wit, was suddenly persona non grata. He walked out of his Hollywood Boulevard studio in a flannel shirt and cap, hopped in a car, and vanished without a word. Fans in line for the show? Devastated. One tourist from Virginia, Jana Blackwell, told reporters it was ridiculous and stupid. Freedom of speech, she said. He shared his opinion and is being canceled. And she's not alone. This story isn't just about one host, it's a thriller unfolding in real time, with high-stakes players pulling strings behind the scenes. All right, let's crank up the suspense. What happened next feels like a plot from a political thriller. Donald Trump, never one to miss a chance to gloat, jumped on social media. The calorie-charging Jimmy Kimmel show is canceled, he posted. Congratulations to ABC for finally having the courage to do what had to be done. Great news for America, he called it, but was it? Or was this the former president settling old scores? Kimmel's been poking the bear for years, roasting Trump on everything from his hair to his policies. Remember those epic monologues during the Trump era? This suspension smelled like payback. But Trump wasn't the only one cheering. Major broadcasters piled on. Nexstar Media Group, one of the biggest owners of TV stations in the US, announced they wouldn't air Kimmel's show for the foreseeable future. The reason? His remarks were offensive and insensitive during a critical time in our national political discourse. They claimed it didn't reflect the spectrum of opinions in their communities. Harsh, right? And get this, they're in the middle of a $6.2 billion merger with Tegna, which needs FCC approval. Coincidence? Or did Carr's threats light a fire under them? Carr himself thanked Nexstar for doing the right thing and urged others to follow. Then Sinclair, the largest ABC affiliate group, joined the fray. Instead of Kimmel, they'd air a special remembrance program for Charlie Kirk. A touching tribute? Sure. But in the slot meant for comedy, it felt like a deliberate erasure. Carr had called Kimmel's words the sickest conduct possible and demanded an apology as a minimal step. No apology came, and the dominoes kept falling. On the flip side, the outcry from Hollywood was swift and fierce. Then Stiller tweeted, "This isn't right." Jean Smart, fresh off her Emmy win for Hacks, posted on Instagram she was horrified and called it free speech, not hate speech. The Writers Guild of America slammed it as a violation of constitutional rights. Shame on those in government who forget this founding truth, they said. Even House Democrats, led by Hakeem Jeffries, accused Carr of corrupt abuse of power and demanded his resignation. Bullying ABC and forcing them to bend the knee, they called it. But here's the nail-biter. Is this censorship? Kimmel's not fired yet. A source told CNBC that network bosses plan to talk to him about what to say when, if he returns. An apology tour? A toned-down act? The uncertainty hangs like a storm cloud. And remember, this comes amid a broader shakeup in late-night TV. CBS just announced they're ending Stephen Colbert's show next year after 11 seasons. Officially, it's not about content, but Colbert blasted them, hinting at financial leaks and that $16 million settlement with Trump over a 60 Minutes interview. Oh, and don't forget ABC's own $15 million payout to Trump for George Stephanopoulos' rape misstatement in an interview. The lines between media, politics, and lawsuits are blurring faster than ever. What if this is just the beginning? What if one wrong joke could tank your career? Hold that thought. We're about to dive deeper into the man at the center, Charlie Kirk, and why his death sparked such a firestorm. To understand the suspense building around Kimmel's fall, we need to rewind and meet Charlie Kirk. Born in 1993, Kirk was a prodigy of the conservative movement. At just 18, he co-founded Turning Point USA, a nonprofit aimed at promoting conservative values on college campuses. Think rallies, debates, and memes that went viral. Kirk was charismatic, sharp-tongued, and unapologetic. He rubbed shoulders with Trump, appeared on Fox News, and built a following of millions. But he also drew fire for controversial statements, calling COVID vaccines poison, questioning climate change, and clashing with protesters. His shooting? A tragedy no one saw coming. The suspect, a 22-year-old with no clear motive released yet, faces aggravated murder charges. Kimmel, to his credit, condemned the attack on Instagram that same day, sending love to Kirk's family. So why the monologue backlash? Suspense alert. It ties into the narrative war. Conservatives accused the left of politicizing the death, while Kimmel flipped it, saying MAGA was doing the same. Flags at half-mast for Kirk drew mixed reactions, honor or overkill. Trump's grief? Kimmel called it childish, but in a polarized America, words like that can ignite. Let's build the tension. What if the suspect's background reveals ties that shatter assumptions? Early reports are murky, but imagine if it links back to political extremism. That's the kind of revelation that could vindicate Kimmel or bury him deeper. For now, it's a waiting game, with the court case looming like a dark shadow. Meanwhile, the FCC's role adds layers of intrigue. Carr's a Trump pick, but Ana Gomez, the lone Democrat on the commission, called him out for exploiting violence for censorship. Broadcasters have public interest obligations, sure, but threatening licenses over a monologue? That's power that could chill speech nationwide. What if your local station drops a show because a regulator dislikes it? Slippery slope, folks. Now let's amp up the suspense with the human stories. Fans like Jana Blackwell aren't just disappointed, they're scared. This is getting bizarre, she said. And she's right. In a country built on the First Amendment, suspending a host for opinions feels dystopian. Hollywood's rallying. Stiller, Smart, the Writers Guild, they see this as a threat to creativity. What if every joke needs pre-approval? Late-night TV thrives on edge. Blunt it, and it's dead. But conservatives argue Kimmel crossed a line. Mocking grief? Insensitive. Carr demanded an apology, none came. Trump's gloating, but is this victory or vendetta? Remember, Kimmel's feuded with Trump for years. This could be the climax of a long simmering rivalry. Broader implications? Late night's dying. Colbert's ending, viewership's shifting to streaming. Networks are skittish after lawsuits. ABC's 15M to Trump. CBS's 16M. What if this suspension is a symptom of media giants caving to pressure? Suspense builds. Will Kimmel return defiant or muzzled? Will Carr face backlash or gain power? Let's speculate. What if Democrats retake power? Could they turn the tables? Or is this the new normal, where government picks winners in media? Diving deeper, this story's a suspense thriller on free speech. Kimmel's words were protected opinion, right?